Prior to the release of Snezhnaya, Mizuki was one of the worst DPSs in the game, or she did the least damage. But apparently, according to a bunch of you guys in my last video on my main account, she can actually do pretty good and is like top 10 DPS. I think someone even said she's possibly top 3. And seeing as I am quite a fan of making characters that don't do a whole lot of damage do a lot of damage, I'll be trying to test that out today. Now, my Mizuki is currently not level 90, same as my Odette, who are essential on this team. And then I'll probably also run the Cryo Traveler because I believe she can be pretty good here. And then either Sucrose or Farazan, depending on what the EM is like on Mizuki. Now, I do think Mizuki's best artifacts for Stellar Swirl is this one, the Scarlet Proof set, although I really do not think I'm going to have good pieces. So I'm going to run with the second option, and that is Gilded, because I will be able to actually get her on a decent set with Gilded, and I do believe it is only slightly worse than the Scarlet Proof set. Unfortunately, my pieces aren't great on Gilded because I don't really farm it that much. So I may go Strongbox a few pieces up for that. Before we do that though, let me quickly sort out the rest of her build like usual. Weapons, I do think we're probably best to run a Widsith or potentially the Mapper. See, the Widsith will be good if we get the third stat buff because that increases our EM by 480. Otherwise, the Mapper probably wouldn't be bad because elemental reaction damage will go up by 8% every time we trigger a elemental reaction. But I think I am going to try to run the Widsith because I do think as long as I get that third buff, we will see more damage out of it. That puts Mizuki at 644 EM, which isn't bad, and is 65 to 165. Now my Mizuki unfortunately is C0, we have no copies of her, but her talents are at 8, which is fairly decent, which just leaves her levels. But before that, let's sort out the rest of the characters. So Odette, I guess I can just leave her on Durin's weapon because it doesn't really change anything. Her artifacts are the Heart of the Furnace, which is the one we want. However, they are not very good, but I can't really do anything about that because I have no pieces. So I guess she's just not doing damage, but I think that's the only thing her stats are really doing. I don't believe she gets extra damage from having more attack or anything, or like can make other people do more damage, because more attack can increase her Stellar Glimmer damage. Oh wait, no, that does boost damage by her attack, which currently isn't very much, but 1500's not terrible, so it's gonna have to do. Plus it will go up once we get her to level 90. Talent wise though, it's pretty low, although I don't have any of these and they aren't open today. So that's gonna have to do, but Odette's not really doing a ton of damage here. She is more here just to enable Stellar Swell and to buff it a little bit. So her build's good enough. Cryo Traveler, we probably don't want her on this. I do need to level it up more, and I know she can do good damage, so I've been meaning to build her a bit, but I think for now we want her mainly to do supportive stuff. Now I don't know if there's a good like supportive weapon I can run her on, but I think probably we'll just put her on Favonius for extra energy, unless I do just want to leave her on this and get her to do more damage. I know Finale of the Deep is an option, but I don't think it's really going to increase anyone else's damage. So I think I might just run her on Favonius for now, to be honest. That's probably a decent option. And artifacts for her, I think we want to put her on... I mean, I've seen people run her on Tenacity, which I wouldn't imagine attack would increase Mizuki's damage a whole bunch. But the only other really Animo buffing set is Viridescent, and I'm going to have that on Sucrose. So, I mean, I guess I could just put Tenacity on her. I have seen people run that, so it'd probably work. I am not exactly sure, but it'll do. She is currently C1, and the talents definitely need some work. So we can get that burst up. We can't, never mind. Is this one open? That one is open today, so I can run that if I need, and I probably should, to be fair. Otherwise, she is done, which just leaves us with Sucrose, who I think we're going to run on Sacrificial, because we do just want to run a bunch of EM on Sucrose, and Viridescent. C6 for her, and decent enough talents, which now means all the characters are fairly built. A little bit of work can be done on a few of them, mainly Odette's artifacts, not great. And talent-wise, we definitely need to work on the Traveler a bit more. Odette could use it, but again, we can't level her up because I don't have any of these. So that just means now we need to get both of these two up to level 90. Mizuki's talents maybe can go up a little bit more, which we will be able to. And I'll probably try to get Traveler's Burst up a little bit as well. I did actually say I was going to have a look at running Sucrose or Farazan depending on Mizuki's EM, which at 644, I do think I need the extra EM from Sucrose over the extra Animo buffing and just straight crit damage from Farazan's Burst. Probably wouldn't be bad, but at 165 crit damage and only 600 EM, we probably do need the EM a little bit more. I also noticed while I was building Mizuki, our color schemes, our color palettes, they're very, very similar. Look at that. Like her purples are very similar to my purples. And in the right lighting, her hair almost matches the same color as my hoodie, which looks kind of cool to see when I look over at OBS, because our color palettes match and that looks kind of cool. It is very aesthetically pleasing on the eyes. But I have just gone and finished all the farming for Mizuki's Sea Ganodermas, which means now we need to farm these for Odette, and I have a feeling there are not going to be enough of these Frost Fairy flowers, because while I have been farming them, there's not like tons and tons in the world, and also there are a few of them that are over here and I haven't unlocked this area. I have been working on finishing all of the exploration in Snezhnaya, but it has been a very slow process. And with that, it appears like all the other areas for these are in places I currently don't have unlocked. So, is that going to be enough? Probably not. Although it's close. I would need another 16, I believe. So let me see if that's even possible. It might be. So I'm kind of thinking about just going and grabbing these, because if I only need another 16, I am probably able to grab that. And I wouldn't mind getting Odette fully leveled up today. So I am hoping that these aren't the last locations, because I think I would need another 4 or 5. No, I would need another 6 after I grab these 3 last locations. Or hopefully not last, because I need another 6 more. Oh my god, it didn't give me any new locations. These are the last 2 locations. And these will give me... Wait, I think we're going to be 1 short. No way, we're going to be 1 short. Oh no, wait, no, my math was wrong. I do need 105. Never mind, we will have exactly enough. Great, throw me into another quest. Awesome. This has to be one of the coolest looking places ever. Well, I don't know why they sent me all the way back here to grab one when we were just here before, but whatever. That is now everything we need for Odette and Mizuki. So we are able to get Odette up to a level 80. We're not going to have enough books, or maybe we have a decent amount of blues. So there's Odette all the way up to her last ascension. I am going to wait a minute and first get Mizuki up to level 90. So there is Mizuki's final ascension and not level 90, which was somewhat expected. But I did just go spend all of my resin on farming stuff for Traveler, which also made me remember that her stuff alternates, so we can't actually get her any further. So that's not great talents, but it'll have to do. And unfortunately, Mizuki and Odette aren't level 90 because I am out of drops, but we do bump up Mizuki's EM to 673, Odette's at 1600 attack, Traveler's fine, Sucrose is fine, builds are sorted, talents are sorted, levels could go a little bit higher, but they're decent, which means the last thing we can do is get Mizuki's skill up to level 9, but with that does now complete the building. So let's head over to the Abyss, which I have already 36 starred this rotation, and the enemies are not very good in floor 12. Floor 11, however, has much better enemies. So I guess we'll run this team in there just because I want many enemies to try this out with. Now, I don't exactly remember the rotation for this, but I think we want to do Odette first into Sucrose Swirl, and then Traveler, and then into Mizuki. I think so. Skill, Burst, swirl that with Sucrose, Traveler, Burst. That's actually pretty good damage. Then Mizuki, Burst, and Skill, which does some 12,000s. I'm seeing 9,000s, 10,000s. I gotta be entirely... Oh, is that a 93,000? Okay, wait a minute. I was gonna say, gotta be entirely honest, it's not that good, but If that was a 93,000, then it is pretty good. I need more energy recharge on this team. Ooh, was that 140,000? I honestly can't see because it's a lot of damage. And I think it's good damage. Yeah, there's 164,000. Oh, hold up, wait a minute. And then definitely some smaller hits in there. But there was 164, there was 120,000, there was some 90,000s. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say she's like top 3 DPS, but then again, she is currently on the wrong set. So I'm assuming if I get her on the correct set, that damage will definitely go up quite a bit. But then you also do have to remember that it is a swell team, so it's lots of damage rather than big damage. 270,000. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on, 280,000? Okay, seems I spoke too soon. And I have seen people do like over 300,000 with her. But that is with the new set, which I think is probably pretty important for this. So I will definitely look into getting that, but for this video, I will not be able to run that because I have no resin and definitely not enough time to try to get a whole good set because I have not one good piece on that set currently. Yeah, so I mean, it's not like the highest damage in the world. It's still pretty good, and for how regularly it hits, she's definitely very, very viable. Now, I'm also kind of tempted while we are here, I wouldn't mind trying this out with Farazan as well. I don't really have a supportive weapon for her, so she can stay on Aqua Simulacra, I guess. So it's going to be the same team, just this time with Farazan. I'm honestly not too sure what to expect from this. I don't know if it'll be much better, but maybe the crit from Farazan's burst will be good. I mean, we're definitely getting through the enemies quicker. I also think potentially there is a cryo damage that's doing a lot, like one of the cryo stellar swells doing quite a bit, but I honestly can't really tell because I'm not really focusing on looking at that. Although I guess for this last run, I'm going to look at the cryo damage more. Now, I don't know if that cryo damage is coming from swell still or if that's Odette's damage. Although if it's large damage, I would assume it's not Odette because she does not do very big damage right now. So let's have was that 300,000? Hold on, wait a minute. That was obviously off the Animo, and it does seem like the cryo stuff isn't doing as much, but I think that was a 300,000. Okay, yeah, I see why people are saying that Mizuki is pretty good, because that mixed with all the other 100,000s and 170,000s and everything else we're doing, that's quite a bit of damage. So I'd also say that Farazan is definitely the go for that team. This team would probably be my best Mizuki team. The only change I'd make to it is obviously getting these two fully level 90'd and better artifacts on Odette. And Mizuki, I would like to get her on the correct set, being the Scarlet Proof one, which would actually help us out a lot because currently Gilded Dreams will give us 80 EM and then another 100 EM and 28% attack, while Scarlet Proof will give us attack and then increase crit rate by 16% and stellar swell damage by 40%. So we'll probably see some really good damage if I can get a similar build except on stellar swell. However, I'm not even going to be remotely able to do that in this video. And while I wouldn't say she's like a top 5, top 3 DPS, she may be a top 10 at the moment. And if not, she is definitely still at least a pretty damn good DPS. Which is so fun to see because Mizuki is one of my favorite standard characters, so I'm actually so stoked that she is usable now. It's a shame though because my two favorite standard characters are the two worst ones. Out of all of the standard 5-star characters, my favorites are Dia and Mizuki, and then also kind of Chi-Chi, but that's just because everyone doesn't like Chi-Chi, so I like making her do damage because it's kind of fun. But at least now, one of my favorite standard characters is actually usable. Dia she's still not at all. But I guess with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you like this video, go check out the video where I pulled for Odette on my main account. And with that being said, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.